Alright, so welcome to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. Now watch this. If you are someone that has that has some kind of vice or some kind of ill will towards Vybz Kartel because of whatever reason you might have, then you might want to turn away from this video. I am definitely one of the people that believe wholeheartedly that Vybz Kartel was set up, and that's the reason why he is where he is. In other words, Kartel never kill nobody, right? So watch this. Today we come to argue or talk about the whole house situation. So Vybz Kartel had a residence in Havendale, Swallowfield Avenue in Havendale, that was demolished. And that residence was demolished, right, at the request of the prosecution. The people that prosecuted him and put him away in prison had this residence demolished by a construction company. Me mean say them bulldoze the house down to nothing and then remove the rubbles and dash it away. Right? Now, let's not forget something. Let us not forget that this is the same house, right? That the same prosecution that ordered that house to be demolished, they are the ones that said that it was the scene of a brutal, mauling death of Clive Lizard Williams. And this is the prosecution, this is what the prosecution argued successfully in Vybz Kartel's trial. Now, why the hell would they have the house demolished so quickly? And claim that the house was torched as Kartel and his cronies tried to hide evidence. Well, people, SouFLoTV have some things that we have to talk about today concerning that house. I'm going to leave in my description below. Enough people know bother to read the description, and them just love the mix-up. So I'm going to leave in the description below for the intelligent individuals that want truth and you're genuinely seeking truth with an open mind. I'm going to leave in the description below some links. I've been looking into crime scene investigation and recovery of evidence, and even questioning, can blood splatters or blood evidence or DNA be recovered after a fire, and these kinds of things. My question to myself though is, and I want you to wonder as well, given who Vybz Kartel is using as his lawyers, how come they have not brought this to the forefront yet? Maybe I'm doing my own little part in actually helping them. Because Mr. Tom Tavares Vincent, somebody might point him in this direction and he might say, yo, you know what? We really never look into that, you know. Let's leave no stones unturned. Because people are already saying, and it's not looking good for him, that Tom Tavares Vincent is government associated and closely working with the people that are putting Vybz Kartel away and want him gone, to only drain the DJ bank book, his financial resources, and then make sure that him stay which part him there so them can end up spending that money. Some people even look further into it and said to me, yo dog, listen, if Kartel they are road, people like Junior Gang them can't get no shine. And this name control reggae music, whether it's by controlling dancehall or controlling 1-2 reggae. Right? So Tom Tavares Vincent is related to Junior Gang and the Marleys. He is Junior Gang's stepdad. And he is also Vybz Kartel's lawyer. So this rabbit hole goes deep. But me now gonna lick it from the angle today. And when I say lick it, me mean lick it like how cricketer lick the ball. Me now talk about lick it with the tongue. Me know someone will stay already. Alright, watch this. So, let me read a couple of things for you first. Remember, link is in the description below. Since blood evidence associated with a crime can provide information that may solve the case, it is essential to correctly document, collect, and preserve this type of evidence. Improperly handled blood evidence can weaken or destroy a potential source of facts in a case. Properly collected and preserved blood evidence can establish a strong link between an individual and a criminal act. Blood evidence or the lack of blood evidence can also be used to bolster or contradict a witness statement. Witness statement. Witness statement. I say witness statement 3 times because we're going to talk about that. And the suspect may make. Blood evidence can also point the investigators in the direction he or she needs to go to solve the case. If blood evidence is documented, collected, and stored substantially and suitably, it can be presented to a judge or jury several years from the time of the criminal act. Perhaps the most powerful application of blood evidence is the ability to absolutely eliminate a person as a potential suspect in a crime. So, don't forget, let me rewind it again. This was the prosecution claim that was argued successfully in Vybz Kartel's case. They said that the house that they bulldozed was a scene of a brutal mauling. You know what mauling mean? You know when time enough people jump on one person and tear them apart? You know when you put a big pit bull upon a one man and the pit bull tear him up? That's mauling. Now, if someone was mauled, according to what this prosecution successfully argued in Vybz Kartel's case, mauled to death, it was the scene of the brutal mauling death of Clive Lizard Williams, sorry. And this is what the prosecution argued successfully. Wouldn't there be blood evidence somewhere in that residence? Now, when I did my little investigation, my first question to myself was, who ordered this property to be demolished? Guess the blood clot answer. It was ordered from KSAC. That approval was requested from the prosecutors in Vybz Kartel case. The order was approved by KSAC and it was requested from the prosecutors in Vybz Kartel case. Now, shortly after they said, yep, guilty, they went right ahead and ordered the property be demolished. Now people are saying, alright, SouFLo, them ordered the property demolished because people were living over there that were homeless people and vagrants took up the property and them did disturb the neighborhood and whatever. First of all, I've seen them run many homeless people out of people's property without demolishing the property. Okay? And knowing that this guy had a chance at an appeal, if this was somewhere that you were sure beyond the shadow of a doubt, remember, I know they argued this successfully, that this was the scene of the brutal mauling of Clive Lizard Williams. Why the hell would you have that scene demolished? Because vagrants was living there, or because Kartel tried to set the scene on fire. People are saying, well, it did burn out already, right? It was already burnt out, so might as well demolish it. Nope. Check my link in my description. Chemical enhancement techniques of blood stain patterns and DNA recovery after fire exposure at www.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. In other words, this is a peer-reviewed article, right, by experts in this field. So I'm not going to read through all of it. I'm going to leave the link in the description for you guys to look at it. So Jamaican government can't turn on in a fool to let you know that, for instance, they started out by saying it is common in forensic casework to encounter situations where the suspect has set fire to cover up or destroy possible evidence. This is exactly what Vybz Kartel prosecutors said. Hey, Tom Tavares, Finson, don't fuck on yourself. I hope you guys are listening, okay? Because them frame up the youth and have him lock up and you claim to be a good lawyer. You need to get this guy out. And the people that are locked up with him. Alright. This is this peer-reviewed site. It is common in forensic casework to encounter situations where the suspect has set fire to cover up or destroy possible evidence. While bloodstain patterns, interpretation, chemical enhancement of blood, and recovery of DNA, they gave the deoxyribonucleic, whatever the heck, that long ass word, short run DNA, from bloodstain is well documented in the literature. Very little information is known about the effects of heat or exposure to heat in these types of examinations. In this study, a variety of known types of blood-like and blood-stain patterns were created in a 4-room structure. This is a peer-reviewed article where an actual, how should we say, experiment was done. Right? These bloodstain patterns were created in a 4-room structure containing typical household objects and furnitures. The structure was allowed to burn. The structure was allowed to burn, and then it was extinguished by firefighters using water. Once the structure cooled overnight, the interior was examined using a bright light. The bloodstains were evaluated to see if the heat or the fire had caused any change to the patterns that could inhibit interpretation. Bloodstain patterns remained visible and intact inside the structure and on the furnitures, and unless the structure that hid the blood was totally burnt away, everything was still there. So I am asking my people to think, and to think intelligently. But ask yourself the question them again. Why did they order that house to be demolished so quickly? Why did they order that house to be demolished so quickly? I know right now you're seeing pictures of a gun, or of guns that were recently shipped into Jamaica. And the reason why I was showing those guns was because you remember Bob Marley, big up to Bob Marley, but Vybz Kartel himself has been accused of being the promoter of, the financier of, the main cause for Jamaica's out of control murder rate, right? Ever since Vybz Kartel has been incarcerated, is it me, or are you not intelligent enough to realize that murder rates has spiked? Without him being here, and without him being out a road for push badness, as they call it. So, is he really to be blamed? Now, we're going to talk about this in another video later, as we have already. There will be a part 2 to this whole gun thing, don't it? And I want you all to actually pay attention to everything that is being said concerning these guns coming into Jamaica. This now have nothing to do with no Vybz Kartel, you know. And about time people notice that. My main issue is what Tom Tavares Finson. My main issue is with his lawyers not putting their intelligence on display in order to get this man free. So for those of you who are saying, yeah, but SouFlo, there was one key witness, just like in the Ninja Man case. One key witness named Chow. And Chow come up and say, did have to run from the residence there, you know, and broke fence and jump over wall and everything to save my life. And Chow is so-called in government protective services. So he is in the witness protection program, and he's the one that was the key witness. Do y'all see a pattern here? Do you guys not see a pattern here? For the people that are saying that, SouFlo, you always blinded when it comes to Vybz Kartel and all that. Hear me I say. You see the youth Lizard? I'm going to say this to Lizard's family. I feel for you guys because they have the wrong person. And the people that actually killed your loved one, I hope and pray to God that they are actually revealed one day. And I know that you want justice for your loved one, as I would want justice if somebody slapped one of my son them. Because I have 3. I mean, I know if me have one more upon the way, but me have 3 right now. Or any of my family members. I would want the real killer to be caught though. And I know that sometimes in the rush for justice, we go off of circumstantial evidence because it points to or it looks like. Me no want point to or look like. I want what it really is. I want the real person that is responsible to pay the consequences for. And I can tell you that Vybz Kartel is not that person. They demolished that house because they, the prosecution, know that there was no evidence there that would point to their claim that they argued so successfully in locking up Vybz Kartel, Sean Stamp, Kahir Jones, and the other youth in this case. Remember, the prosecution argued successfully that there was a brutal mauling. A brutal mauling, that means blood should not be everywhere. And there is evidence that proves that that blood should be able to be recovered even if the place was set on fire or even bulldozed. People, think for yourself. Somebody please link up Vybz Kartel legal team and tell them to pay attention to this video right here. And pay attention to the links. Because all they have to do is prove beyond the shadow of a doubt. Or create doubt. It's SouFLoTV, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Leave your comment in the comment section below. I'm out.